This is Gabriel Connor from Red Devil Vortex, and you're hanging with the Hooligans on the Hooligan Nation, a KISS-Centric Podcast.
This week on Hooligan Nation, musician, songwriter, self-described KISS geek, creative force behind Red Devil Vortex, and the third member of the Handsome Devils to appear on this podcast. Yeah, we are fanboys. Stay tuned, because you got
nothing to lose.
Oh, yeah. We're money. Money! Money!
Money.
Money, bitches! Welcome to the Hooligan Nation, a KISS-Centric Podcast, the podcast where the riffs are loud, but our opinions are louder. I'm Anthony.
I'm Rocco.
And I'm Black Diamond Dave.
Oh, shit, he do the worm! What's up, hooligans, and welcome to episode number 81 of the Hooligan Nation. This week, we shall blow your mind. But before we get to that, we have news, music we're listening to, and the return of my beloved Hooligan Nation weekly poll. News, what you got?
All right, so I got some news, and it's two snippets of news from the same subject, similar subject. So my news is regarding Dave Mustaine. It's off of Loudwire, March 8th. Dave Mustaine reveals his post-Megadeth dream job, plus surprising sacrifice he would make for the right role. His quote: I wouldn't mind studying acting. I've always done a ton of stuff on TV, hosting game shows, sitcoms, movies. So I'm accustomed to being in front of the camera. I think it may be fun to do. He's even willing to cut his hair.
Wow.
Yeah, I read that article. If you read further on, he's willing to cut his hair as long as he's guaranteed a large spot
For the right role, right price. Yeah.
Right.
I
I mean, not for nothing, but if somebody pays me enough to be in their movie, I'll cut my hair too.
Yeah, that's a good point. There's a price. The second reveal is just I thought was interesting because I didn't know if he was like a mentoring type. And this other thing he says, I really want to share my gift with younger musicians. If it's somebody older and they want to learn what it takes to make Dave tick, I don't care about the date of birth. I just want to share. I've been gifted from God, and I would not be able to be this good on my own.
Black Diamond Dave, what you got?
So I'm going to talk about the passing of Boston's Tommy DiCarlo. He passed away March 9th from brain cancer. The thing I wanted to point out that I thought was so interesting is that it's the same day that Brad Delp passed away. I just think that is so bizarre that this band is plagued by March the 9th.
That's crazy.
Wild.
I don't really have much to say. Obviously, he put up a valiant fight.
Rest in
R.I.P.
peace, man. Rest in peace.
And he spent over 20. I think he was in the band over 20 years.
Went from working at Home Depot to being the lead singer of Boston.
Wow, I didn't know that either.
See that? You can keep your dreams alive for another week. From the big orange box to the big center stage. That's where hopes and dreams go. Anybody heard about this Live Nation antitrust lawsuit that was just settled?
No.
I didn't know not how it was solved.
Well, that depends on how you look at it, I guess. So I'm not going to read the article, although the article is on Loudwire. Trying to keep up with the other Joneses here. So if you want to read the whole article, it's on Loudwire. But I guess 40 states brought a federal antitrust lawsuit against Live Nation for being what they are, which is a monopoly with Ticketmaster and Live Nation. But they settled, and part of the settlement, which sounds like a win to me for Live Nation, part of the settlement is they do not have to break up their monopoly. So, like part of the article says that it should bring down the prices of concert tickets. But as long as you have a monopoly, and their reasoning was just, I guess they some a certain amount of venues can use outside ticket promoters, a certain number. So I think it's blowing smoke up our asses personally. So I think the most we could all hope for is maybe it freezes ticket sales for a while. And piggybacking off of that, and you said something. I don't know whether you said it a week ago, Black Diamond Dave, or well, you didn't say it a week ago because you were chasing Minnie Mouse around, but maybe 2 weeks ago you said something, or maybe it was in text. I don't know about the shit with Metallica. Well, that all centers around Live Nation. I don't think anything's getting better, which reminds me that I also have a Metallica update for all those Metallica fans out there. Metallica put out a press release today that this is it. They have added as many shows to the Sphere as they were going to add. Although they did tease that there's a possibility of the future, and I think there's a great, great possibility of the future. If I was Metallica, like, you have all that money. As far as I know, they all live West Coast-ish.
Mm-hmm.
Why wouldn't you keep going to the Sphere? Like, just make it the residency that never ends. I mean, they started out with like 8 shows, and they're at 24 shows. And as far as I know, the ones that were put on sale are all sold out and were sold out. I read an article today that some fan was complaining that when you went to buy the ticket, they put you in the queue and they tell you what number you are in the queue, and the person was number 300,000 in the queue.
Oh, wow.
Look, just if you're a hooligan out there and you have bad math skills, if you get put in a queue for a 18, 20,000 seat arena and your number is 300,000, don't waste your time. Music we're listening to.
Guy I'm really into, Sturgill Simpson, dropped a new album under his alias Johnny Blue Skies. It's called Mutiny After Midnight. Dude, it's like a funk rock. It's wild. The album is fantastic.
What's
Johnny
the
Blue
album?
Skies and the Dark Clouds. They rule.
Dark Clouds. Dark Clouds.
Johnny Blue Skies.
Johnny Blue Skies and the Dark Clouds.
I gotta say, I dig the name.
Yeah. It sounds like a Western.
Johnny
Yeah.
Blue Skies, Father Rocco.
All right.
What
got-
you got?
I got 3, but I'll do them quick.
3.
Yeah, I've been doing a lot of listening to music this week. All right,
Ain't doing no working.
no. Well, you know what he does to me? He gives me bands and I mark them down, and I got my Spotify and I try to tap into each one every once in a while. So Dorothy, I love the vocal. Wicked Ones, Raise Hell, Rest in Peace, and Gun in My Hand. I love the harmonica. Very cool bluesy song. You told me about that maybe like 6 months ago, I think.
Oh yeah, it was at least 6 months ago.
I write it down though. I'll get to it eventually.
because she sang a song on Nita Strauss's last
That's right.
solo album. That's
Right.
where I found her. Was there? It's
A lot of good songs.
I can't remember the name of the song, but it's a killer ass song.
She's got a great vocal. I love her. I love her voice. The next one, shocker, Red Devil Vortex. Fallen, love the riff. Viper, cool aggression right from the start. Of course, Love Gun, you gotta love it. Psycho, the acoustic version, I like a little more than the electric version. More Luck Than Brains, very aggressive, high energy. Open the Gates, and The Last Fight. Catching up on Red Devil Vortex.
I guess
And-
you are.
And this Joey Casada brought this one on. Stay Hungry. We talk about complete albums. Twisted Sister, Stay Hungry. Pretty close to a complete album. You got Stay Hungry, We're Not Gonna Take It, Burn in Hell, I Want Rock, I Want to Rock, The Price, Don't Let Me Down, The Beast, SMF.
Yeah.
And even the one song I left off has some killer guitar in it.
Maybe it's time for me to revisit that.
It's a great album.
Man, well, stay tuned, hooligans. Next week, that'll be my music we're listening to.
Thank you,
But-
Joey. That spurred it on.
But this week, I have been listening, and this is how this relationship works. I do it for you, and you in turn do it for me.
Okay.
Because I decided to revisit Double Platinum.
One of my favorite rock albums of all time. It's a compilation.
It is a
Don't care.
compilation.
I don't care.
But it is probably it is their best compilation.
That was, other than our era it started, that was my baptism into KISS.
And
Amen.
I like the different versions of the songs. Like I like Strutter 78, the Rock Bottom She mashup before mashup was even a word.
The
I don't know
order,
if I would listen to it all the time, but I thought it was great. And then you give me Black Diamond without that at the end and all, I'm sold.
absolutely.
I didn't like I've killed that to death. I didn't need that to ruin that song. And I hadn't remembered until Dave said something that there was a version of that without it. So that's another reason why I went back to Black Diamond.
Good job, Black Diamond.
Or I'm sorry, that's another reason why I went to Double Platinum. Do you know what time it is?
It's poll time.
It is the return of the poll. Hooligans, it's poll time. Our weekly polls can be found on our community tab and on our Facebook group. This week's poll question is, in a perfect world where money and travel were not an issue, Father Rocco, which experience, thank you, would you choose? Your choices were Gene Simmons' Legends of Rock Expo or the Indie KISS Expo with Paul Stanley. Father Rocco, what say you?
Yes. KISS made a song for my choice. Give me more. Give me more. I'll tell you where I want to go, but
It was
I
an
need,
either or, and this man
I
still
know.
made a third.
I need more. I'm sorry. I'm not going either one. I want to go to the Vegas one, so if I had to pick one, it's that one. But I'm not going unless they have more shit to it. Sorry, I'm keeping it real on this podcast.
Black Diamond Dave, can we get a straight answer? Don't care what it is.
Give him a song.
You got two options. Just choose one.
Tupac.
Okay, I'm
Anyway,
good. Continue.
anyway, Las Vegas for me.
That doesn't even matter if the Legends of Rock Expo wasn't there. You're gonna pick Vegas
Just Las
anyway.
Vegas.
It's Vegas, baby.
You know, I didn't know where this one was gonna turn out. I say this often. I was a little surprised at the numbers here, and I'll explain why after I give you the numbers. But Gene Simmons' Legends of Rock Expo came in at 41%. The Indie KISS Expo with Paul Stanley came in at 58%. And I was a little shocked.
That is shocking.
And I was a little shocked because the Indie KISS Expo looks like it's going to be an expo type thing. Stupid answer, I know. It's going to be for autograph people, like that kind of thing. Legends of Rock Expo looks like it's going to be, to me, like it's going to be more like Kiss Cruise Landlocked. So I just thought the majority would want to go with that. Apparently, I am wrong.
Well, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong.
You're wrong.
The indie one has more substance, and the Vegas one is incomplete.
I can't even call the Vegas one incomplete. The Vegas one hasn't even started.
They ain't got nothing.
They ain't got nothing. Oh no, that's not true. They got Dave Davies or Ricky's or some kinky guy or some shit.
Not even disrespecting that what they have so far. It's just there's no way you're selling anybody on just that.
Thank you to all the hooligans that voted. A new poll is up right now, and it is a banging poll, if I say so myself, that has like a record number of votes in its
I
first
voted.
6 hours.
Dave, did you vote?
I did vote. Vote or die.
So for everybody else out there, other than Black Diamond Dave and Father Rocco, please, please, please vote. It is both your right and your responsibility as a hooligan. Joining us today is the creative force behind one of my favorite bands. Gabriel Connor is a dynamic bass player, singer, songwriter, and performer, best known for being the frontman of Red Devil Vortex, known for blending classic rock attitude with modern edge. His influences helped mold his playing style, one that combines melody with aggression. As a key force behind Red Devil Vortex, Connor helped craft a sound that merges heavy grooves, memorable hooks, and modern rock intensity. Gabriel was also part of the Handsome Devils, a project that further showcases his versatility as a musician, singer, and collaborator. Gabriel Connor represents the ongoing evolution of modern hard rock while still carrying the rebellious DNA that made classic rock legendary. Gabriel, thank you for coming to hang with the hooligans today.
Thank you.
Yeah, hey.
What up, guys? Thanks for having me. My pleasure.
So let's start with this. Can you tell us a little bit more about who you are and where your journey into music began?
Play in a band called Red Devil Vortex. I'm the singer and bass player, and I've been doing this band since 2016, developing it, right? Back and forth. And it got better traction after I started recording a full album with Luis Calil in 2020. We started writing together. And that's when we decided to actually go for it full time and tour and do all that. So that's what we've been doing since then. But I started in music when I was 8 years old. I was always musical in some way, and I always liked rock music before I even knew it was rock music. So like I was a little kid, like maybe 5 or 6 years old, and my dad would put on Beatles, in the car, and he would play Twist and Shout, and I would love that song. Or like, so to me, that was their heaviest song at the time, so I liked that song. Or like, I would watch Power Rangers, and I liked the intro with the guitar that later on we found with the
intro,
keyboard.
yeah.
But it was a kick-ass intro. So like, as a
absolutely.
kid, seeing those things, like it brought me closer to rock. But it was KISS really that sparked the passion, that showed me what could be possible and kind of gave me the feeling that when I saw them on TV, I was like, oh, this is something that I can actually do. Like I didn't know why, I felt like that this is something that I can actually do. I saw them on TV and I thought it was super interesting. A couple of weeks later, I saw their action figures on a store and I saw, Gene Simmons and Peter Criss, and I thought they were really cool. And then eventually, like I had an uncle, he would collect VHS tapes from all kinds, like movies and music stuff, and he was really into rock, but I didn't know any of that. Nobody initiated me in the world of rock. I was just discovering it, going through the motions. So, and then he had a little, I want to say like a little VHS rental place in his house, but he wouldn't rent it. It was just for us, his family. So he would record his films and have it as a collection. And sometimes my dad and I will go and check it out. And he had a KISS tape. What's the name? KISS Extreme Close-Up. It was my favorite tape ever. And that was my introduction to KISS. That was the first time I saw KISS actually playing and performing a song, and it was Unholy. And it changed my life. That music video on itself, just those first 30 seconds, changed my entire life. It kind of became an obsession, and it also became something really, I would say, healthy growing up for me, to be a KISS fan, to actually start playing music or taking care of my health because of those things, because I wanted to be on stage. So you got to look a certain way. You got to have a certain type of energy. So that was basically my growing up. And then I went from KISS to Black Sabbath and Metallica and Guns N' Roses, and those became also my favorite bands, and especially Black Sabbath after KISS. I love it to this day.
Did you come from a musical family? If yes, did any of your family play an instrument? And also, were you encouraged to follow your passion of music?
Yes, I did come from a family of musicians, but that I also didn't know. Like everything I kind of discovered on my own, and I decided to be a bass player because of Gene, because I saw, to be honest, because
Cool.
of his action figure, because I saw the Ultra action figures, and I saw that he was the only guy that had a guitar with 4 strings, and the other guys had a guitar with 6 strings, and I'm like, that's the only guy with 4 strings. He only needs 4 strings. He's probably cooler. That's that's my kid
Wow, cool.
mentality. And I was like, whatever he's playing, that's what I want to play. And then I found out about the instrument, and I actually loved it. I fell in love with it, and I still do. I still love the bass guitar. And to answer your question, yes, I come from a musical family. My mom's side, my granddad's brother, he used to be a maestro in cruises back in I don't even know how long ago,
Wow.
like when he was young. And my uncle, her brother, is also a bass player and singer. He used to have his own rock band in the 70s. So it
Cool.
was just it's in my blood. Being a singer and bass player is in
Nice.
my blood. And I became a bass player in my mind at least before I even knew he was a bass player. So when he found out I was trying to learn music, because I came to my dad and I was like, hey, I wanna play bass. I want to play this instrument so much. And it was like bass wasn't as popular. I don't think it even is right now. Like it wasn't as popular as the guitar. People don't really get it sometimes. They don't even know what the instrument is.
A lot of
So when it
times,
came to my
yeah.
dad, he knew about it, but he didn't really get it. Like, why do you like the bass? Why not a guitar? Or why not, or this or that? And it's like, you know what? We have an acoustic guitar. If you show me that you really want to do music, you play the acoustic guitar first and you do these little lessons, with your acoustic. And if you do well, and if it's something that you actually want to do, then we'll think about getting a bass guitar. And of course, I hated it. I hated that idea, but I went with it because that's all I had. So I started playing acoustic guitar before I played bass. So there was this person that my parents knew, and she was a music teacher like for kids. So he came to my house every week and she taught me, a few songs on acoustic guitar. And I would show her the Kiss tape that I had. So there's Paul Stanley playing Forever on an acoustic guitar or whatever acoustic kind of thing that I could find in the tape. I would show it to her, and be like, this is what I'm trying to do. This is the kind of music I'm trying to play. And she
Hmm.
was like, "Oh yeah, that's great, but to play that you got to play this first, and to play that you got to play this first." And I'm learning all these other songs that I never really heard about or cared. And I'm like, "Lady, they're like, I'm not music savvy enough yet, but I know enough to know that that song has 3 chords, and all I need you is to tell me what those chords are." That's all.
Right.
That's all we need to do.
Just cut out all this stuff. Let's roll.
Yeah, come on. I mean, I don't know, man. I don't know if I was a really good student, to be honest, but I was really eager to play rock and roll. I really, really wanted to be on stage playing rock and roll and rocking out. And I felt the music in me in a way that I never felt anything like that. Because when you're a kid, you have like fantasies, right? Like, oh, I want to be an astronaut. I want to be a Formula One racer. I want to do this, this, and that. But to me, it wasn't a fantasy, it wasn't a kid's fantasy.
Who are the musicians that you would consider your influences?
I mean, the top of my head, Gene Simmons, of course, and Paul Stanley. I gotta say both of them because it's Kiss. James Hetfield, Ronnie James Dio, Ozzy Osbourne, Geezer Butler, Jason Newsted. Those guys would be the main ones for me. David Coverdale.
I'm not
Um,
arguing any of that. That's a great
Yeah.
picks, man.
Yeah.
Guns N' Roses is a major influence too. I love the way they wrote the songs in the Use Your Illusion albums. People talk shit about it, but I really like the epic songs, Estranged and November Rain and all that stuff. I think it's great.
Heck yeah. So besides Kiss, who are you a big fan of?
I would have to say Ozzy and Black Sabbath. And
Great
Metallica.
picks.
And Metallica, for sure. Growing up, when you don't know about what band is bigger or who's more successful or whatever, I had a lot of bands that I loved that nobody knew about. There's this band I think they're from Finland called Poison Black. Have you guys heard of them?
No.
So they're a band formed by the lead singer of Sentenced, which was another goth band from the same era. And Sentenced was a big band in the 90s of the goth era. And then Poison Black was a follow-up to that group that he had. And I thought it was amazing. If you guys never heard of that, Poison Black is a great,
All right. I
great
wrote it
band
down.
that
I'm definitely
not
gonna
a
check
lot
it
of
out.
people talk about. I don't even think they're around anymore, but they're a great band. Another great band that I think unfortunately didn't really go too far in Brazil is a band called Monster. They were formed they were Kiss fans too. Those guys were Kiss fans too, and they were recording songs like in a quality that was beyond our time in Brazil, and they were amazing. They were a three-piece as well. They had like an edge to them as well. And if you look up on YouTube, I don't even think they're on Spotify, but if you look up on YouTube, Monster, The Nightmare Continues. They have a whole album that's called The Nightmare Continues, and they also have a cover of Rain by Kiss, which is awesome.
Oh,
Check it
wow.
out.
Cool.
I definitely recommend. Definitely.
A cover from Carnival. That's freaking awesome.
Yes.
Top
Yeah.
Tops It
Brilliant.
Gets is my number 2 favorite cover. I'm just
Which
saying.
one?
No, he's referencing back to Love Gun.
Oh, there you go.
That's The Ceiling is number 2.
Yeah,
That's
there
the
you
way
go.
it is. Gabriel, I gotta ask this question. I get the feeling when I listen to Red Devil Vortex, like of course Kiss comes out, but Guns N' Roses comes out, Metallica comes out, and it's almost more it's like Guns N' Roses, Metallica, but a more modernized version
Mhm.
of it. Is that done consciously, or did it just shake out that way?
I think it's hard to hide your influences, I would say. So it's not like we're trying to sound like those guys, but we take the elements that give us goosebumps. You know, like what are the parts of the songs, or what is that guy doing there? What is that kind of technique or whatever? How do you actually build a song that is great from top to bottom, right? So that's pretty much what we're trying to do. And I think I can also say that for Luis, and I'll definitely say that for myself, we don't really try to sound like anybody else, because that would just be, I can never be any of those guys, you know, so it would just be wasted work in trying to emulate anybody. So if it sounds like that, it's because it's natural, you know, it's something that we
I
really love.
I don't think you guys sound like anyone. Like
Uh-huh.
you sound like Red Devil Vortex. I mean,
Yeah.
that's it. But I get a feel of the Kiss influence, of the Metallica influence, of the Guns N' Roses influence, like a feel of it.
Yeah.
Oh, Kiss sounds like Kiss.
Yeah.
To me, you're putting Kiss, Guns N' Roses, Metallica, plus this mystery into it, and I think it's what ultimately made me the fanboy that I've become of Red Devil Vortex. Is it's a sound that I had never heard before.
It's
That's
definitely unique. It
awesome.
stands out.
Right.
That's awesome, man. Thank you. Thank you.
The other thing,
I
and
think we're
oh,
trying to
good.
be, because like again, like some bands try to, and we like nostalgia too, don't get me wrong, you know, like we really like that stuff, but you know, maybe some bands try to recreate something that was already created in a time that was for that. And if we
Hmm,
try to do that, it wouldn't sound genuine, you know. We got to be who we are, and we are today, you know, we are part of today's world.
right.
So whatever made, you know, those bands notorious in that time, that's what we're trying to do for ourselves. Like how we can represent musically the times that we're living in right now.
You know what? This is crazy. He just answered the question that the three of us have been trying to answer. Why don't we like Monster and Sonic Boom?
Oh, yeah.
It's the 2000s version of Kiss trying to sound like the 1970s version of Kiss, and that's why we
Hmm.
don't like it.
Yeah,
Because
Yeah.
we
it's
wanted to
not the
love those albums,
70s.
but it just didn't hit.
It
Yes.
just came to mind when you were saying that. Don't mind me, I chase squirrels.
I love those albums too, but I totally get what you guys are saying, because when they released Revenge, which is like, of course, we have Psycho Circus, but let's say in an original form, in a growing form, that's almost kind of the last Kiss original album, right? Instead of
Totally.
trying to recreate something, they're trying to do what we're trying to do right now. They're trying to be part of 1992.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So, in my opinion, they should have done that with. I think they did that with Psycho Circus too. I think that was a great album as well in '98. They were part of that culture, because I remember like watching like Metallica's Feel and Nirvana's Whatever, or even like Britney Spears and Backstreet Boys and all of those different types of music, and then Kiss Psycho Circus, and it fit. It's
Hmm.
part of that. It's part of that point in time. I get what you're saying about Sonic Boom and Monster. They're trying to sound like Rock and Roll Over, but they're not that. They're
Right.
Kiss in 2009.
Right. And I think we just found the second person other than me who likes Psycho Circus because he said he likes it. So there's
I
at
like
least two of
I
us.
my take has always been I absolutely love We Are One, and I love the song Psycho Circus is one of my top Kiss songs of all time. But I feel like those two songs are here, and the rest of the album is not bad, but I feel like it's a tick below those two.
Wow. Psycho Circus to me is like top 5 Kiss albums.
Oh wow.
Wow. Top 5.
What do you
Could
think
be
of, I
top
mean,
3 even.
I don't know.
Top
Well, that's the beauty, but that,
three,
but that,
brother.
but that's,
Holy moly.
but dude, that's the beauty that we say it all the time. That's the beauty of Kiss. Kiss has so many flavors of ice cream. There's something for everybody, right?
Amen.
There is.
Amen.
Where would you put Sonic Boom and Monster in that list?
I would put them before probably The Elder and Killers.
Ooh.
At the bottom of the list, probably before
Killers.
Dynasty.
I'm sure there have been some challenges during your journey, especially coming from another country. What would you say was the most difficult hurdle that you've had to overcome?
Good question. I think coming from another country gave me the ability to appreciate more things from 2 different perspectives. Because like when I came here, I mean, don't get me wrong, like moving from another country itself is, I didn't know that before, but itself is like an entire different, it's like being born again somewhere else, but as an adult, because you don't have your parents, you don't have family, you don't have anybody.
Right.
I have been to America before I moved here. I have been to America 3 times, twice with a band touring, doing a few shows. So I kind of knew the road life a little, like, and then when we were invited back here, but then that's how we came about for us to move. But then the band dissipated, and we still had to find a place to live. So we had to find a place to live and kind of start from the zero with the band breaking up. But we
Wow.
still had to live together for a few months at least to survive and figure out from there.
Oh, man.
But then I could stay here, and then I was like, well, I'm in LA now, there's a few other things going on for me in my personal life, and I'm like, well, I can either stay here and maybe restart or just go back home and go back to the old life. And I'm like, well, I might as well just restart. That's 2015. So 16. I moved out here 2015, and I started Red Devil Vortex again in 2016. But this time I was like, well, you know what? I'm gonna try to create something that's more consistent than our past band. It was called Living Garden, but we had like many changes of members and different types of sounds and different type of. And when you do that, you can never actually develop
No
um,
consistency.
a consistency, a personality, a point of view as a band.
Right,
So
right.
that was like that's what it was lacking for that group. So this time I wanted to create something more concise and something more that is more towards what I like, which is like the not only the music but the universe around the band. Like the visuals or the videos or the merchandise and like the logos and like maybe a lifestyle, because I was always into working out and having a healthy lifestyle. Always also really into heavy music. So I was like, maybe like these different life changes that I've been through can be something good for the message of the music, and that's kind of
Cool.
how I felt in the beginning, because even though like when you come from outside America, you think you know America because you watch the movies and you get the culture. And don't get me wrong, like we get all of the American, the United States stuff like Kiss and Coca-Cola and McDonald's and it's everywhere. And you think you understand. But once you move here, and I moved here, I already knew how to speak English. I used to be an English teacher in Brazil. So I
Oh,
knew I
cool.
had to I knew I had to speak the language. So that's one thing. That's another thing that I wanted to do because I always wanted to be a musician, and I wanted to play in other countries other than my own. So I thought the best way to do that was to play music that everybody would understand. I had to do other kind of jobs for a little while. So as a construction worker, I sold Hollywood tours, I whatever really to make a dime to sustain my life and my apartment in Hollywood at that time. And at the same time, I was going to shows. I was seeing like legends playing for free in small venues in Hollywood. Like I went to, there's this thing called the Ultimate Jam Night in Hollywood. So a lot of musicians from different bands come once a week now, but it used to be weekly to just perform, cover songs and make a really cool night for everybody. So I saw Nuno Bettencourt and Billy Sheehan and Matt Starr and all of these guys. And I'm coming from Brazil, right? So and I'm seeing all of these guys playing for free at a club in Hollywood.
That's awesome.
And with all of these other like great singers that I don't know about. Maybe they're from the LA scene. Maybe they're from, whatever other band or backup singers from this bigger singer or whatever. So all these different types of musicians that are coming together to make a musical night for everybody in LA. And I'm there every week. So the first thing I do is like I print a couple of CDRs, like a few of them with my best songs, and I'm handing out my songs to everybody in Hollywood. And that's how I'm making friends. And I'm like, hey, I'm a singer and bass player. These are my songs. And, like I just moved here. I'm looking for friends. And that's how I ended up meeting everybody. And that's how I ended up being part of the Ultimate Jam Night. And I play there. I still play there sometimes. Doing the work from zero, literally zero, a band from zero. But then, at least in my mind, I was like, oh, but this is gold because now I'm starting a band from Hollywood. And that sounds great, even even if it's kind of part of the Motley Crue dream, right? Because now I have
the dream.
I have a Hollywood apartment. My band is living with me in the Hollywood apartment, and we're building this thing that's called Red Devil Vortex. That's something really, really cool. And we became part of the whiskey scene. So we were there, I still know everybody there. I still go there all the time. And the Rainbow people as well became friends with those guys. This is the very beginning of Red Devil Vortex, right? So we're trying to see where do we fit and what should we do as a band since we're starting from scratch and we don't want to break up. We don't want this project to go away, right? We need it to be concisive and it needs to make sense pretty much. So we're like, okay, what are all the things that we love about life at all that are artistic that we can put together? And my side was like, and I was the most active, really. Like I started the project, I decided on the name, I drew the name, I created the logo, everything. So I brought it to the guys. They were into it, but at the time I thought they were more into it than they actually were. So it kind of became more of my own project. So I brought Darth Vader and Batman and KISS, like all of these characters that are somehow part of the heavy metal universe. And I was like, if I put it all in a blender, I want that to be Red Devil Vortex. I want that to be our look. I want that to be our sound, like video games like Mortal Kombat or Doom, all that kind of stuff. I want that to be the visuals. I want that to be the vibe because, like, what is rock right now? I remember like back in 2016, there was this band called Echo's Myth. Have you guys ever heard of Echo's Myth?
Nope.
No.
So they were like a brand new band. They had like a billboard on Hollywood Boulevard of the hard rock, but they were so pop. And I'm like, that's not rock. That's not rock at all. Like I got to do something, even if we don't make it as big, even if we never get a billboard, we just got to do something that speaks to us.
That you believe in. Yeah.
That's heavy, that's actually rock. And that's how it started, like working in Hollywood, day jobs and going to the whiskey, meeting bands, meeting people, building up, playing the Ultimate Jam Night, playing everybody else's songs, playing with other bands, booking your own shows. And we put out the first EP. That's a very important thing to add to as well. Like I found this guy through a mutual friend. His name was Augustus Crimes, and he was a producer. He was my age, and he was coming up in the LA music scene back in 2015 and 2016 as a producer for new bands, right? So he was doing Butcher Babies at the time. He was doing Dead Rabbit at the time. He was doing some bands like that. They were like mid-level to growing. and he was doing this band called Westfield Massacre, which those guys were friends of mine at the time. And they put us in touch, and he recorded The Fallen, the first single that we put out together. So that was the beginning of our partnership, because I brought the song to the studio, and he brought his knowledge. He was a very young guy, but he had such knowledge in music, and he wasn't afraid to create like crazy stuff on top of whatever song you brought to the studio. So it was such an interesting process to write something with him, you know, and that was the sound. When we put that song together, it was like, oh, this is the sound. This is our producer from now on. We made that song, and then we needed to make a music video, and we didn't have the budget to make the music video. So we put all the money we had together, and we came up with $500. So we bought like a black cloth and a new camera and some lights, and we shot the music video inside of the living room in our apartment, and I put the video together. And that's how I started making music videos,
That
because
is awesome.
we couldn't put it together. We couldn't hire anybody. So I'm like, okay, I gotta make this look like it wasn't edited by the lead singer. You know what I mean? I gotta make this look like we hired somebody. That ended up being how we made most of our music videos, because it was just easier. I could go crazier, especially because I love fire. So, you know, I breathe fire in one of our music videos. We have fire machines in another music videos. Like we exploded things in other music videos. So like, hard to find people to do that kind of shit. It is really hard, you know, what social media did, like bringing all types of entertainment together. Like you don't have separate channels anymore. You don't have like groups or things that, you know, everybody likes.
Right, you got to sort through and grab the jewel, you know, like the jewel that's out.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Or like maybe even a gatekeeper, right? Like today, that I think that's the biggest challenge for us, because back then your goal was to be signed. Like you felt like if you were signed, you made it.
Right.
Which wasn't really true for most bands, but you didn't care. You know, if you got signed, at least you got a shot
Right.
at stardom. Now it's like a never-ending road that you just keep adding stuff up. You know, like here's another music video, here's another song, here's another artwork, here's another picture, another video, another song, and you're never really going anywhere, you know. And I hear that from a lot of artists. It's not only me saying. So it's pretty crazy. At the same time, it gives us the option of like, if no label ever chose us, you know, who knows if Red Devil Vortex would ever even be a thing, you know. But because we didn't have to be chosen, you know, we were able to put together, and because of the technology as well, right? Internet and all that kind of stuff. Like I was able to learn how to make my own music video and my own artworks and my own merchandise and my own everything. And now we have everything in house, and we're an independent band that has action figures. So
yes, you are.
Yes,
And
you
it's been
are.
brought
Awesome.
up more than once on
You
this
know?
podcast.
Heck yeah.
You know,
We're going to get ourselves Red Devil Vortex action figures, I think.
Yeah.
I don't know, Dave. You
yeah.
get the Gabriel and I'll get the Lewis.
Deal.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
We're good.
We're working on the new edition right now, so we'll send you guys some, definitely.
Hey,
This is how I see Red Devil Vortex, not as my band, but it's a collection of things that I love that other people noticed, you know, and that's probably what you guys noticed, even if you didn't know at first. But some elements of things that you guys like are in there.
Oh yeah,
and that makes us a community.
To be honest with you,
in the videos, in the music, in the merch. I told Lewis, I love this shirt.
That's
like,
awesome, man. Thank you.
I love this shirt. Like when I wear this shirt out, I'm gonna order another one, and it's gonna be the same shirt.
What was the song that grabbed you and sold your soul to rock and roll?
Unholy.
Right on.
Unholy.
Killer
Unholy.
answer.
Good choice.
Unholy. Had to be.
Father Rocco.
I think you kind of went over this already, but what about the bass stood out to you?
My first memories, right? So there's that story of the action figure that I told you, because it wasn't just the action figure, it was the way McFarlane Toys made those Kiss action figures because they were the first ones for the reunion tour. I don't know if you guys remember those. The
I
Ultra
do.
action figures with the big letters that makes Kiss.
Yeah.
So I thought they were so cool because like the boots are out of proportion and the hair is out of proportion and it's so like they're like little characters, and like big guitars and the big bass is an X bass with blood. And I always liked like superheroes and vampires and all that kind of stuff, Darth Vader. So I saw that, right there. It's like, wow, it's not only a guitar, it's an X guitar. It's like, holy shit, this guy's killed people with this, like there's blood in there. And he only needs 4 strings to do that. That's brilliant, There's 2 other guys doing the same thing and they need more strings that this one guy only needs 4 for. So that's great. And then after that, I bought the CD Carnival of Souls, and I looked up the instruments, and I saw the Punisher, the Gene Simmons Punisher in the back, and I thought it was the most beautiful thing. And I just, I don't know, I just felt attracted to the bass itself. And when I found out about the actual sound, what it was like separating it from the guitar, it blew me away because it was the unsung hero. It's the instrument that nobody hears, but it's always there. And when you take it out, you totally miss it and you don't know what's missing, but it's the glue between the rhythm of the drums and the melody of the guitar. It puts everything together. It makes it all together. And I'm like, this is perfect. Nobody's talking about this. I need to learn more. And that's what it is for me.
Let's roll into a little bit of Handsome Devils.
All right.
How did you get involved in the Handsome Devils?
It was because of Bruce Kulick. Thank you, Bruce Kulick. You're awesome. It was because of Bruce Kulick. So a while ago, I think it was 2022, Bruce Kulick called me and I was blown away. Bruce Kulick called me and he invited me to be part of his band on the cruise for the Psycho Circus cruise. And I couldn't make it because KISS had added a second cruise on that year. And his bass player wouldn't be able to do the second run. I don't know if you guys remember that. So he calls me and he's like, hey, I heard your name. I think we were already talking here and there. Oh, because we did I'm not sure if you guys saw that, but we have a version of I Still Love You. It's Bruce Kulick, me, and Pauly Z from Love Gun as well.
No, I've never seen
I
that.
gotta check that out.
We did that to raise money and we made that video to honor our family members who passed. So I lost my dad and Bruce Kulick lost Bob Kulick and Pauly Z lost his brother, kind of all around the same time a little bit. And as Bruce being in KISS and Pauly and I being the huge KISS fans we are, Pauly had his contacts. We all made this music video to raise money for a foundation. So go check it out. It's in my YouTube channel. I Still Love You.
Very
So we did
cool.
that. And after that, he hit me up to do the cruise. Unfortunately, I couldn't do the cruise that year. I couldn't go. But we stayed in touch. And when Neil Davis, which is the guy behind KISS-Centric Goodbye, was putting the event, he called Bruce. He hired Bruce to play as well. And he was asking Bruce about a bass player that could do the Gene parts in those songs, like Creatures of the Night and Lick It Up. And Bruce told him about me. So he calls me and he's like, hey, I'm putting together this big jam that is going to be to raise money for cancer. It's going to be in Florida. It's going to be this and that, kind of a KISS Expo, but it's going to be called KISS-Centric Goodbye. We already did KISS Creatures the year before, so now we're rebranding to KISS-Centric Goodbye for a good cause. And I'm like, yeah, bro, call me in. But like, whatever you need me to play, it's like, so what era of KISS is your favorite? What do you prefer to play? What do you do? I was like, just give me whatever you need. Just give me whatever you need, and I'll play whatever you need. And he gave me 42 songs.
Oh. Damn.
Well, you'll never ask that question again, huh?
I know. But I was really excited. I was really excited to play KISS, because you never get, those opportunities often. So I was like, I can play whatever. And I really could, and I still can. So I don't really care. So he gave me the Lick It Up full album. So that's how we were going, right? Because we didn't have the Handsome Devils yet. So it was just like musicians. So separating, putting together bands for the night, not forming anything. So you're like, okay, so you're going to play lick it up, and you're gonna play these songs with these people, and then you're gonna play these other set of songs with these other people. So we did the Handsome Devils, but I also did a few Ace Frehley songs with Ace's band, Ryan and Jeremy, and I played with Ace on that first year as well. We did 2 songs. I did Shock Me and Rocket Ride. So that was fucking awesome. I got to play with Ace Frehley.
That's
that,
awesome.
That was awesome. That was brilliant. Thank you, Neil Davis. You're awesome. And it was kind of like that. So our band, the Handsome Devils, it was me, Todd Kearns, Joey Casada. There were 2 drummers actually. There was Joey Casada doing half a set, and the other drummer was Ken Trapp, who plays in KISS tribute band, KISS America, with Neil Davis. And Charlie Parra from Quarantine plays with Chris Jericho guitars, and a few other bands. So they put us on stage to sound check and do like a quick rehearsal before showtime. And Charlie came up with the name The Handsome Devils because of a joke, because of whatever we were talking at that time at sound check. It became a joke, and we're like, oh, you guys are a bunch of handsome devils or whatever. And people started calling us the Handsome Devils among the organization. And the next day they introduced us as the Handsome Devils. And we played the full Lick It Up album. And that's how it came to be. And we sounded great during the Lick It Up album. And it was kind of a chemistry thing. It was one of those things that you don't really put together to create something. It was just like we met 2 days before.
Wow.
You know,
wow, that's so cool.
Like I had seen Todd Kearns playing with Slash before. I had said hi to him a couple of times, but actually meeting, you know, having coffee and talking KISS and talking music, like that was the first time. I knew Joey before, but same thing, you know, like actually hanging out. And Charlie, I knew him before for a couple of times in LA, but actually hanging out and being part of a band little project for like a day or 2, that was the first time. And then we did Lick It Up, which is also in my personal channel. There's a few songs of that performance because we didn't really record. We weren't ready, you know, like for videos or anything like that. We didn't know what was going to happen. And then the next year, Neil Davis calls me back and he's like, hey, we want to do the Handsome Devils again. Now we want to do like an actual Handsome Devils show, but we want you guys to do the Creatures of the Night album. But Charlie cannot do this year. So maybe we need to get a second guitar player. And I'm like, I have the guy.
You had the guy. There's no doubt about that.
Absolutely.
We do it because we love the music and we're doing it for a good cause. But everybody's got their own bands, right? So we're always on the fence of how far should we go to promote the Handsome Devils, so we don't look like we're trying to, you know, like get something out of it for ourselves. We want to do what I mean is we want to do it for the right reasons. But anyway, we recorded the whole show. We recorded the audio, and then we came home and we gave it to our producer, Adair Delfenbach, who did the last Red Devil Vortex album, and he mixed the show. And that's the Creatures of the Night show you guys have on YouTube right now.
Fantastic.
And that came and that gave us the pre-party last year, because the Pop House guys reached out to Javier from Kiss Army Spain, and he had our contact, and he reached out to us, and we put him in touch with Neil, and it all happened. It all came together.
What songs do you find the most challenging when working with Handsome Devils?
The
Go ahead and say none of them.
songs from the 80s are the worst ones, because he wrote those songs and he didn't really care about what he was playing or singing. So sometimes he'd be playing something on bass and singing something else entirely, and it's like it's a mind to work on. Like Burn Bitch Burn was like that for me.
Burn Bitch Burn would have been amazing because I don't think anybody's ever played it live.
No, yeah.
You know, it was like I'll tell you, I fanboyed like a 9-year-old when I've Had Enough Into the Fire came on. And it's one of my, well, I'll be like Father Rocco. It's in my top 50 of my favorite KISS songs.
Man, I've had enough.
I think it's only been played. I think KISS has only played it live once, maybe.
I heard it.
When that came on that night, it was like knocking something off my bucket list.
That's awesome.
Because of it.
Even us on stage, we're looking at each other like, I can't believe this is happening right now. I can't believe we're playing this song.
The energy was
Right.
off the hook.
How does Red Devil Vortex start, and where did the name and logo come from?
How did the name come from? Let me remember this. It started because I wanted to create a universe, like I told you guys. And like I saw the name somewhere. I saw the words because it wasn't the name put together. I saw the words on this label, and it was like a big vortex and then Red Devil. But I read Red Devil Vortex. That's why my eye caught. So I'm like, whoa, Red Devil Vortex. This sounds cool. This sounds like badass. Like trouble. Sounds like trouble. You know, something's going on here.
Heck yeah.
And I just kept the name at the back of my head until I was ready to put a band together. And then I suggested it to the guys, and they were like, okay, that's great. Because I thought, well, it has everything, like I wanted a name that was just one word, but there are so many bands that have like long names, like System of a Down, Red Hot Chili Peppers, and they're still successful, So I'm like, Red Devil Vortex is not that far. It's good. It could be relatable. It sounds like one of those names that he said, oh, I play in Red Devil Vortex, and people go like, oh, I heard of that band. And that happened to me back then during those times when we were nobody, like, oh, I heard of you, and I knew. No, you didn't, but kind of helped me to stick with it. Like it felt memorable. And the logo and the V came up basically because I was trying to draw something with my hand that could be drawn on on your table in school, while you're having, or you're having lunch in school, or you're in your classroom or whatever, and you can draw something, just to pass time. So that's where it came from to me. I looked up some font and I designed the logo, and then I accidentally designed the V symbol as well. So I was looking for something, and then I just copied and pasted the V behind one another, and it looked good. Like it took me literally 5 minutes to do it. And I saw it like that, like a full color shape, but it was all red. And I was like, oh, this works great. I think I'll just stick with that for now. And then here we are.
Sounds like magic to me.
Sounds like magic, man. One of those things that you do from your heart.
As somebody who scribbled band logos on notebooks, I'm happy you thought of us when you designed yours.
That's what I used to do. That's what I used to do, That's what the logo's for people to draw.
All right. The only question that I had to ask this entire interview, we have to talk about the Love Gun cover. Okay. I believe it is the single best KISS cover I have ever heard. Can you tell us where the inspiration came from and walk us through the process of creating what I consider a brand new song out of an existing KISS classic?
Wow. What an intro. What an intro to Love Gun.
And it's not even bullshit, dude. That is literally the way I feel. Is you guys took not a unknown or a deep cut KISS song. You took a huge KISS classic, and at least in my opinion, you made a brand new song out of it.
Wow.
Like, that's amazing to me. That is almost more amazing than creating the original song. Wow. The fact that you can take the structure of an existing beloved KISS song, my favorite KISS album is Love Gun.
Yeah.
Love Gun is a great song.
Really? It's your favorite album?
It is. Love Gun is my favorite album.
Wow.
Love Gun is not my favorite song, but again, Father Rocco thing, it's probably in my top 10, top 20. But you took that song, and for me, I listened to KISS's version, I listened to Red Devil's version, and I can listen to them back to back. They're similar, but they're so different, and there's elements of greatness out of both of them that are different elements. I mean, the guitar solo, the bass line in the beginning, the dual vocals. I mean, I could just go on for days. Thanks,
man. It makes me really happy. It makes me really happy.
That bass line in the beginning is badass. And I am not a musician. I don't know how you do it. Like, I don't get into any of that.
Well,
But
I
that
gotta give credit first of all to Paulie Z, my good friend Paulie Z, because he came up with that version at first, right? Because he's a huge Kiss fan. Paulie played in ZO2, which was I think maybe 15 years ago, a band that was a hard rock band from Brooklyn, New York, and he played with Joey Casada. Joey Casada was also in that band, and the bass player was David Z, which is Paulie's brother, and they're all huge Kiss fans. So back in 2020. I already had Red Devil Vortex, and my first guitar player had left the band, quit. We fired him. Whatever, you pick one, whatever. One of those things that everybody in the band decides that guy doesn't belong there anymore. So
Bye-bye.
he was out. He was out. We had our first EP out, Something Has to Die, which we were really, really happy about because he hit the Billboard charts back then, and it was, a big achievement for us. Also because of the producer I was telling you guys about, Gus Crines, great guy. And we didn't have a guitar player, and the pandemic hit, and we were trying to do something. We had a few new songs for Red Devil Vortex that we were working on, and we were planning to release, but we wanted to put out something for the internet, like everybody else was doing, kind of trying to navigate the new life form that we were living at that time, right? And then Paulie and I were, like I said, really good friends, huge Kiss fans. We were nerding out on Kiss, talking about Kiss one of these days, and he suggested the song because I was telling him about Red Devil Vortex and what I was about to do, and he was like, "Well, like since you don't have a guy, and I have this song sitting, like why don't we get together and maybe do a special version, for Red Devil Vortex, and you have me featured." And we'll do something different, something that's just different. We'll see what it feels like, what it sounds like. So we recorded it. I think we did a few tweaks in his version, so I could fit in and do my kind of put my
Your stamp.
my characteristics in it, right? Like my voice, my everything. But he came up with most of it. And he was brilliant. And he wanted it to be exactly what he just described it, like an epic metal heavier version of like if it came from the gods, that's why there's the choir in the background and all that kind of stuff. And I'm like, bro, I'm all in for it. If you're dreaming bigger, yeah, I'll go even bigger. Let's just go as big as we can. And we put the song together and we put it out, did a music video, and that's what it was. And we were really happy about it. We got a little press back then, but we didn't. I don't know. Didn't go too far. We promoted a little. People were happy. 2 weeks ago, I think it was, when you were on the phone with Eddie Trunk, somebody sent me a video. They're like, "Hey, they're talking about you on the radio. They're talking about Red Devil Vortex." And I'm like, "They're not talking about Red Devil Vortex on the radio. You shut up." And then he showed me the video, and there it was. There it was you.
you're damn
Talking
right,
about
man.
Love Gun.
Dude, when I hear something that sounds like it should be huge, and I've been I'm 51 years old, so I've been listening to Eddie Trunk on the radio since I was like 8 years old. So
Wow.
I listen to Eddie Trunk almost every day. And that's a lot of where I get information from, new music from, like that's where I get it from. So I'm driving and I'm listening to his radio show, and he was doing, I think he was doing a segment on bands that should have been bigger or should be bigger or something. And
Uh-huh.
I'm thinking to myself, I have never heard Eddie Trunk bring up Red Devil Vortex. Like, how is that possible? Like, I had just found you, but how does he not know about it?
It's
And
true.
from listening
It's true.
for more than 40 years, I'm thinking to myself, this is something that Eddie Trunk would grab onto and would love. So it's not the first time I called, but I was like, yeah,
Of course.
I'm calling.
How did you and Louis Khalil meet?
Like I said, I had an apartment in Hollywood back then. In 2000, I moved to Hollywood in 2015. He moved in 2017, so 2 years later. So I was already, like I said, distributing my CDs, but I was also throwing parties at our apartment so we could meet everybody. So we were doing the whole Hollywood thing. And then I would go to the jam night, make friends, invite them over, bring people to the party. And then we had a mutual friend that would come to our parties all the time. He was always there. And he's like, hey, I got this new friend. He's coming out from Brazil too. And his name is Luis Calil. And then I looked him up a little bit. He was like this prodigy guitar player that everybody, used to talk about. I had never heard of him before, but he was a big deal in the areas that he was in, like in his hometown or his home state, or even in São Paulo, which was a different state. He knew a few other people. So we were in different scenes in Brazil pretty much. But he was also younger, way younger than me and coming up. So, it made sense that I didn't know him yet. But then he came to one of the parties and we became really good friends. And he went to Musicians Institute in Hollywood, and he had a few other friends in there that we also became friends with. And when we were living in Hollywood, I moved out of Hollywood in 2020, but when we were there, I was there for 5 years, and we just had the best time, man. Me, my band, and the other bands, and everybody was trying to do something. There were shows, everywhere. It was already, don't get me wrong, compared to the 80s and 90s, it was already totally that, if you want to compare to that. But for the last survivors, it was really, really fun for whatever we were able to do, So that's how we came about. So we were already really good friends before we played in the same band. And I wanted him to succeed even before, I remember him coming to the apartment, even when we weren't partying or anything, we were just working. Because if I didn't have a day job, or even when I had a day job, I was always working on the band, no matter what I was doing. Like my friends would go to the beach, everybody would go party or whatever. I stayed in, playing music, recording, working on the band. And which I kind of regret it right now. I should have enjoyed it a little more, but hey, got to make your choices. And I remember telling him, I was like, hey, just because we're not in the same band right now, it doesn't mean we're not on the same team. I want you to succeed. And if I've done something that wasn't good for me, I'm going to let you know. I'm going to tell you, if there's any kind of advice that I can give you to improve your career, because he also wasn't in a band. He was doing the instrumental guitar stuff. So he was pursuing that, like Guitar World kind of shit, like guitar techniques, guitar, everything guitar. So, and I was always really happy for him because he is brilliant. He deserves everything he's got, and he works really hard for the things that he accomplished. So, it's good when you see your friends like that, and you need to want your friends to succeed, even if they're part of what you're doing or not. So that was always my approach. And with him, it wasn't different. And in 2020, when I was looking for a guy, I called him up in February and I said, would you like to be part of the band? And he said, no, I really want to do the instrumental thing right now. I don't think I'll be the best fit for Red Devil Vortex right now. But I appreciate the call, like we're awesome. Like I said, we were friends. It wasn't weird at all. I just had tasks, So he said no, and then I moved on, But then the pandemic hit and I stopped calling. It's like everybody's home right now. I'm not even gonna try, anything. And a few sad things happened that year. I lost my producer. He was found dead in the studio, and he passed away.
Sorry.
And then a few weeks later, I lost my dad in Brazil for COVID, and he passed away.
Man.
And that's when my friends came to my house to support, and Luis came over. And he was like, hey, man, what if I show up one day, spend the day there, and we just record a few songs? Because he was kind of bummed out in his house, too. It was the pandemic. Everybody was bummed out, So we were just trying to do something to create some different type of energy, Like too many losses, too many downs in one year. We're like, fuck this, let's just do something fun.
Right on.
So he came over, we started recording with no plans whatsoever. And then he came to me later that day and he said, hey, maybe I should reconsider, and I would really like to join the band if you think about it, because I think we have a really good chemistry now that I came over and I played with you. And I thought so too. Like I thought we worked really well together. And the next time we got together, that's another funny story. I brought a song to the session and he brought a song to the session, and it was the same song. So I had the chorus, but both songs were on the same key, the same tempo. Even the riffs were similar. we kept his riffs because his riffs were better, but they were very similar. And then we kept my chorus, and that became More Luck Than Brains. So that was the first official Red Devil Vortex song that we made together. And that's when we knew it was meant
to
be.
be.
Right.
Absolutely.
It was
That's
meant to
cool.
be.
Very cool.
And thank God.
And white doves flew, and the sun.
All right. So the reason that I asked this question, band dynamics is always something that I pay attention to, and you have incredible chemistry with Lewis. Like you guys have finish each other's sentences on stage. You both are like going for the fans' jugular. Like I love it. Is that something that you guys work on, or is that something that you vibe with the music and it just comes natural?
Both. It was in my bands, because I played in many bands before Red Devil Vortex. I mean, the one that succeeded the most was the one that I created, but I played it with many people, tribute bands, you name it. I played all types of gigs. One thing that I never understood, at least in my career, when you're trying to put an original band together, the other musicians are like grumpy, like, why do you do this move? Why don't you do this? Why don't you dress like this for stage, And they're like, I don't want to do this. Oh, that's embarrassing. Oh, and I don't want to play. And I'm like, guys, we're supposed to enjoy this. We're supposed to give people a show.
Right.
We're the first ones to have to enjoy what we're doing and try to do something different. So in my life, I always thought I was the crazy guy in the bands. And people thought I was crazy because, oh, Gabriel has those ideas because he's into Kiss and he just wants to do everything that Kiss does. But I'm like, no, bro, like Iron Maiden does that too. They don't wear makeup. Metallica does that too. They don't wear makeup. It's not about the makeup. It's about being a showman.
Right.
It's about people expect a certain type of experience from a rock show, and we got to deliver if we're going to charge money for that. And that's all that is.
Right on.
But in my experience, I was always the most excited guy in the rehearsal room. So I'm looking at the visuals, I'm looking at the outfits, I'm looking at the stage presence and the stage props and what amps are we going to have, what kind of drum set, what's the color of the drum set, does it match the band's perspective and sound, or, what are the t-shirts we're wearing, any kind of that stuff, right? And over time, I kind of got, I don't know, bummed out with that because I was the only guy paying attention to that. And I even got to the point where I thought maybe I'm just too much, maybe I'm too overwhelming, But then I met Luis, and Luis was exactly the same way, and he got excited about those things too. And when I came to talk to him about that, I was like, oh, I like this, and that. It's like, bro, this is awesome. We're going to be able to create the universe like this, and we're going to be able to create the universe like that. So I kind of saw myself in him in many ways, and he saw himself in me. And we were just excited to put the best heavy metal show we could with whatever we had at whatever point in time we are. And that's probably why you see the chemistry, because sometimes he comes to me and he's like, hey, you should do this move on stage and I should do this and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, holy, this is the first time ever in my life I have another band member telling me a different idea, bringing me a stage idea. It's usually all me. So that's how it comes to be, because he's always passionate about it as I am.
Awesome. That's awesome.
And that's what makes you guys different.
Yeah.
I mean, the pre-party, I could immediately see that you and Lewis had something that was completely unusual.
Well,
I mean, you could just see it, and then from the fact that you guys video your shows, so somebody that's on the East Coast can see the show. I've watched, I don't know, 3 or 4 Red Devil Vortex shows on YouTube, and it is nowhere near the same experience, but that connection comes through the YouTube live videos and the stage show and the V's on each side of the stage and all of that. Like, as a Kiss geek, man, that's just like, you put that and the music, you can't ask for anything.
And one of the things they always say that about Kiss, it always says, right, they're a live band. You guys are
Yeah.
definitely a live band. You don't fully get it
Yeah.
unless you see you guys up close.
Yeah, this is what we do it for, because we like the live experience more than anything. We want to play as much shows as we can. When I'm on stage, it's the only time in my life that I feel 100% like myself.
Mm.
Like it's not like I'm exposing myself. It's almost like I'm entering my living room, and in this space here, however size it is, this is where I get to be myself. Everywhere else, I have to behave like society. But here, I am me.
You can definitely tell you guys are having fun.
Mm.
It's not work.
Because we came from a different country, a different language, different culture and everything. And I know Luis is a huge metal and rock fan, always has been since he was a little kid, just like me. And you have those dreams. You see, like you watch Guns N' Roses playing the Tokyo Dome, or, Kiss playing Madison Square Garden, everything on TV, and you're like, I want to do that. And then you reach for that, and then you're levels away from anybody who's in America even trying to do that. So like the attitude, like the fight that you have to have in yourself is way bigger, because you have to learn a new language, a new culture. You have to move. You have to leave your family behind. Nobody understands you. Everybody's like, bro, why are you leaving all of your friends, and you're pursuing this music dream that nobody even know if it's gonna come true. And we didn't know. We have, it's easy to look back now, but when you're actually leaving, I remember the day I left home, and I didn't expect to. I didn't even, I've been living in America now for almost 11 years. I didn't expect that to happen. I thought we were coming here to do a tour at first, maybe stay a few months, maybe stay a year, and then go back home. But my life happened entirely the opposite way.
Wow,
And I ended up living in America, living in LA. And I'm like, this is what you wanted, but at the same time, you're not going to see your friends as often. You're not going to see your family as often. You're going to have to work harder. You're still going to have a day job. You're still going to have a normal life. You're still going to have to learn everything that you've learned during the 25 years of your life in Brazil. Now you're relearning it in as fast as you can amount of time, just so you can catch up and maybe catch a break in the rock scene in 2015, maybe. So it's like, I know for Luis it's like that, and for me it's always like that. Whatever show it is, it's always the last show. If tonight's the last show and it's the last memory people are gonna have of me, what is the memory?
Respect, man.
And it's not gonna
sure.
be Gabriel was boring. It's not gonna be that. I'll tell you that. So,
He was a madman.
As a
Yeah.
fan,
Yeah.
thank you
Yeah.
for that.
Right on,
Seriously,
brother.
thank you.
Yeah.
thank you.
You are worth the price of admission. You both
Thank
are.
you, brother.
But I respect
means
your
a lot.
journey. I respect your journey, and I really respect your passion for it too.
Thank you.
Much respect.
So what's currently going on in the world of Red Devil Vortex?
So we're currently kind of working quietly. We're writing new songs, and we are making new videos. We have a few different projects for the next songs that we're working on, because I think like everything we do now, it's gonna be even bigger. Like for every song that we release, there's gonna be at least one piece of merchandise, at least one video, lots of social media videos. Like every song is gonna have their own universe. So that's what we're working on.
Right on, brother.
Cool.
Yeah,
That's exciting.
so it's exciting, man. I think you guys are gonna enjoy it when you see it. I don't know exactly. I don't know. I don't have the full context and concept yet, but we are building it visually and sonically, and it's sounding really cool. It's the next step of everything that we've done, and it's exciting. It's exciting. It's coming out this year still.
I love the
Really
fact
cool.
that you guys are so present on social media. I do.
I mean, it's the
I
only place it can be now,
It's
right?
the
Where else
vehicle.
is it gonna
That's the
go?
vehicle, right?
dude,
Yeah,
I
that's the way.
gotta tell you, I gotta give you and Lewis credit, because our podcast being present on social media comes directly from you two being so present. Like I started to
yeah.
follow you guys, and it was something on there every day, and I was like,
Yeah.
I need to look at the younger guys and see how they do it to try to promote what we're doing. And now we put something out on social media every day, and that's where it comes from. It comes from you and Lewis, because every time I open Instagram, I see you or I see Lewis every
Mhm.
single time, and I'm like, these guys are onto something that I'm
That's
not paying
awesome.
attention to because I'm a dinosaur. So we have a social media presence now because of you guys. So thank you.
That's amazing. Well, you guys got a lot of content.
What is your favorite Kiss song to perform?
Ooh, bro.
I know there's a lot to choose from.
You know, before Kiss Cancer Goodbye, I had never performed so many Kiss songs. I think I played over 100 Kiss songs now just because of that event alone. I would say favorite to play, I gotta say between Rock and Roll Hell and War Machine.
Ooh.
Those are my favorite songs to play.
Can't
If I had to
argue.
choose a Paul Stanley one, I would say either Creatures of the Night or Exciter.
I love Exciter.
Oh,
Good answer.
Exciter. Yeah, both those. I love those songs.
Yeah,
Both those
those
songs.
are awesome.
According to our little demon, Gene Simmons, the drums are not a musical instrument. Would you like to chime in on that?
Yeah.
I understand where he's coming from. I understand where he's coming from. Sounds pretty Gene to me. You know, he would say something like that. It doesn't have musical notes, right? But it doesn't mean your drummer can't be a musician. You know, I had drummers in my bands that wrote guitar riffs and played guitar really well.
Oh,
So it's just like, of course it is a musical instrument. That's the heartbeat of the song. Yeah, I'd say it
As-
is. It is.
I always thought
Yeah.
it was funny that the bassist is saying that about the drummer.
Yeah.
I mean,
You
there's
know?
the rhythm, set your rhythms. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Like, of course it is. It's part of the whole, you know.
That's Gene being
Like,
Gene.
it's like saying, oh, the tomato sauce is not food. It's just a pasta.
oh shit. We're Italian. Tomato
We're
sauce
Italian.
is food. It's its
You
own
know?
food group.
Yes.
Yeah. No,
Oh.
it is a musical instrument. I would say yes.
So the Rock Hall is a big topic lately. We keep bringing it up. It seems like almost every week.
Okay.
Do you think only one kind of music belongs in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame?
Yeah. Yeah. Rock and roll.
Mic
Heavy
drop.
metal is part of that. You know, heavy metal is part of rock and roll, so it goes in there.
Right.
But
Okay.
hip hop, all of that stuff, no, I don't think so. Madonna's not. No.
I would argue with you that Madonna's as much rock and roll as Lemmy is, but that's
The attitude.
attitude.
That's attitude.
Yeah, that's where
Well,
we're coming from.
I
Yeah.
like Lady Gaga too, but she doesn't belong there.
I
like
think she has the better
NWA.
resume than Madonna.
Yeah.
Stuff
I
she
like
did with
NWA,
Metallica.
but they don't belong there.
Wait,
Okay.
Lady Gaga went on stage with Metallica. Doesn't that make her rock and roll?
No.
I thought I'd try. Thought I'd try.
I love how direct the answer was. Though.
Absolutely
that was
not.
freaking awesome.
Can Metallica go into the Pop Hall of Fame?
Hell no.
I don't know. Is there a pop Hall of Fame? I mean,
I don't
we
think
know
there
there's a
is.
hip hop Hall of Fame.
They
It's
passed over
it's
Lulu.
in New York City.
Really? Is there one?
Yeah, I've never been there, but there is
So
one.
can Metallica go into the Hip Hop Hall of Fame?
Well, I would.
I'll give you a better one then. Can Anthrax and Aerosmith go into the Hip Hop Hall of Fame?
They
They
should.
should. They
They
should.
both
Yeah.
should.
If we're being fair.
That
Yeah,
was a,
I am
that
the
was a good
man,
take, though.
And yes, they both
Yeah,
should.
that was a good take.
This is
I
an
mean,
ongoing
if hip-hop
thing
guys
with
are
us.
going to the Rock Hall of Fame, then I'll say yes too. They should be there. But if we're separating styles, then separate the styles. Say we're separating styles. Only rock and heavy metal are allowed in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Even if everybody on that board hates Kiss, it's undeniable that they changed rock and roll forever.
Oh, 100%. In many different
So-
ways. Absolutely.
So shut up. It's not about your taste, It's
Right.
about the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Who's part of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame? Kiss. Not because I'm a fan, but as a music fan, as a heavy metal fan, Kiss is at the top. It has to be
Undeniable.
undeniable.
Do you have anything that you would like all the Gabriel Connor and Red Devil Vortex fans to know? What are you currently working on, and where can you be found?
Sure. I want everybody to know that no matter what happens from now on so far, I really appreciate every single one of you that supported my music and my career so far. And it's been a wild ride and it's been awesome. And if you want to find all the new releases of Gabriel Connor or Red Devil Vortex, you can go to gabrielconnor.com or reddevilvortex.com. If you want the merchandise, you can go to rdvstore.com. And for all the social media handles, it's simply at Red Devil Vortex. I'm there too. You can look up Gabriel Connor. And that's it. Let's fucking rock and roll, because that's what we're here for.
Well, thank you for hanging with the Hooligans. I think I can speak for both Father Rocco and Black Diamond Dave and say we had a blast doing this.
Thank you so much.
You have 3 legitimate Red Devil Vortex fans. We wish you nothing but the greatest success. And we do believe Red Devil Vortex is the future of hard rock and heavy metal. So
yeah.
That's amazing. I hope to see you guys in the next few shows. We're probably no, I'm pretty sure we're gonna come back to your areas. And I'm really happy to have you guys on our corner. Really appreciate you guys. I'm one of the coolest interviews ever.
Hey, say hi to Lewis first.
Thank you, brother. Thank you so much.
Thank
all
you,
right,
guys.
thank you, Gabriel.
All right, guys.
Thoughts?
We get some killer freaking guests, I'll tell you that. I thought he was awesome. I really respect their story. To just leave everything and go after your dream, man. I really respect that.
A lot of what he said you hear from bands like KISS, bands like Guns N' Roses, bands like Metallica, makes me wonder, are they the only bands that go that extra mile? The ones that make it, you know what I mean?
And you know what? There's another thing about KISS that they never get credit for. Like Gene and Paul create their own mess with their mouth, but they always, for as long as I follow them, they are always preaching. You can follow your dreams. You can do what we do.
Yeah.
And you know what? It doesn't always resonate with everybody, but I guarantee it resonated with Gabriel.
He said at one point in the interview that when everybody else was out partying, that he was in the studio working, and that he maybe wished he did a little less of that. And when they hit, and I do believe it's a when they hit and they hit big,
he won't think that anymore.
You won't think that anymore.
Mm-mm.
That's a while he's climbing the mountain.
That's a good catch that you got there.
When they reach the top of the mountain, and I truly believe that they're going to look down and say, thank God we took this chance and came to this country. And thank God we put all that work in. And, you know, just certain things that he says, like he's with a band and they're like, oh, why do you have to do that? And why? Because you have to be different.
Well, Dave, when you text about he's another Gene, like he's got vision like Gene, absolutely.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Yeah.
He's a Gene Simmons, dude. That's what he is.
Yeah. If you're listening to us on any of the podcast platforms, please leave us a review. And if you just found us, check out our past episodes. If you're watching us on our YouTube channel and you like this episode, please consider hitting the like button, just like them two guys, and leaving us a comment. Hit that subscribe button, just like them guys, so you don't miss any future episodes, and check out these episodes right here. As always, if you made it this far, thank you for supporting us, and don't forget, we should all lead with love and take care of each other. Peace out, Hooligan Nation.